so counterintuitive for much of us. You write, we tend to categorize and seek clear profiles of ourselves and of others. Our whole culture is permeated by the myth of some sort of unambiguous self. Could you unpack that a bit, and why that's an important
Yeah.
thing?
Well, it gives a lot of identity is one of the number one issues at this time. People is trying to define myself. If you are this, who am I? And how do I relate to you? And what is my specific identity? And identity can be a helpful thing, but it can also be a narrowing thing. And going back to my aspect of we are all kind of a melting pot of very, very, very different aspects. And for every characteristic we have the contrary also, because we need that contrary to counterbalance. If we're all only givers, well, then you get exhausted. You need to be a taker also. If you're always, let's say, unselfish, well, you need to have this selfish thing. So in fact, it's always this balance. And you can say, well, I'm, let's say, more a giver than a taker, but you can say, well, it's 70%, 30%, but it can be 90-10, but it can never be 101, 100 nil, because you need always these both sides. And if I look at identity, who are you then? Well, you said, well, yeah, you're all this, but that's not so very satisfying, because, yeah, well, that's quite chaos. So I use often the metaphor of a bus. We're not one person. We're a whole bus of people, and there is one in the driving seat, and after the driver there are some sub personalities of yourself that you know very well. These are, for example, roles. You got from a reflective role to a more let's say active role, or you can change that, and you can change it like a director changes the cast of his film, saying, okay, it is now your turn to get to the steering wheel. But also you get in the back end of the bus aspect of yourself that you really don't want to see and you don't like, and that is the selfish guy, or the aspects of yourself that you don't want to see. But anyway, sooner or later they will come to the front of the bus and take over the steering wheel, and that can be, let's say, to go back to my example, if I find myself that having clear boundaries is for me something has the connotation of being selfish, because and therefore I put it really at the back of the bus. But anyway, when I'm on holiday, it comes back and I get the angry Ivo gets on the steering wheel. Now, in my thinking, it is not, you're not the director of this bus, but you are the one who observe the bus and the different persons in the bus, and you know who is at the driving wheel at that point. So who are you? You are not, well, you are more than all these different aspects of yourself. You're also the person, or the person who can, and that is your link with Buddhism, etc., who can observe the whole bunch of people that you are, and also can make deliberate choices. Not always, but is that, and this gives a much more space and much more possibilities. In fact, to because these are all aspects of yourself, and you know when something comes up, but often we are not aware of this, and this is something that triggers us. If my son or daughter are very nasty, I get very authoritarian, for example. Oh, right, that's a trigger. That's my reaction. If I know that, oh, right, okay, I mean, an authoritarian. Oh, all right, but I'm also a nice father. So do I need to go in this role, or have I have the liberty to take this role on or not? Huh? And that is, I think, the power of, and this self-observation is so crucial. I think, as a crucial one of the crucial skills in this. I think it's the basis of well the eight skills that I work out in the book. But I think it's the basic layer also, and that's more internally focused, and most competencies are externally focused. It's about behavior, but this is kind of uh, an internal quality that is, I think, and it's a kind of meta competency, because there you can see what competency that you use in what situation. That is, let's say, the master director of the whole bunch, let's say. Yeah, and sometimes you have to be more at the background. Sometimes you have to show off, etc. So you make more conscious choice than it overcomes you.
I love it. I think that is such a beautiful and important idea. I made a note here of a Tolstoy quote that I want to highlight, but essentially you just laid out exactly what he was saying so beautifully, and I have a question for you. But Tolstoy wrote, one of the most common and generally accepted delusions is that everyone can be qualified in some particular way, said to be kind, wicked, energetic, so on. I'm paraphrasing here. But he said people are not like that. Everyone bears within them the germs of every human quality. Now manifests one, now another, and it just kind of goes on there. You don't see a lot of that. And I mean, I read a lot of books. Obviously, I interview a lot of authors. You don't necessarily even see a lot of that, which I think is such an important idea, and maybe a difficult one to grasp and accept. Maybe not. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is that your experience? Like, why is that? Why do you think this is an important idea and maybe not as commonly talked
Yeah.
about?
Yeah. Yeah, because it might be confusing, that you say, well, but anyway, I need to have a very sharp profile, also on my CV or on my LinkedIn profile. I'm about this, and not about that. And it gives a lot of comfort, but I think the big advantage of this self-reflection is that it helps you to empathize with others, because if you recognize all the aspects of others in yourself. And what we often do is, for example, they say, well, I'm not judgmental, but these people are very, very judgmental. Or, well, let's say, or people who looks down on other people, I find them despicable. And what I'm doing is exactly the same. So that is then the blind spot, and being aware of that you can help you start a conversation with people, because you recognize this aspect of being better as someone else also in yourself. Right, okay. And that allows you to be much more mild regarding others than saying, okay, I'm right and they are wrong. And that is a way also to start a real dialogue, instead of let's say, my position versus your position.